So I think, in the last class we spoke about record level sharing. In record level sharing, we discussed about, you know, the organization-wide defaults, what are public read write, public read only, and private means. We we saw what grant actions using hierarchy means. Um, and we also saw, we saw what grant access using hierarchies, like how it, provides access to based on the role hierarchy. And the grant access using hierarchy is always um, unchecked. Like for custom objects, you can check or uncheck, but for standard objects, you cannot control. It's always checked, so you cannot escape that. So that's why when we are designing something, we need to keep that in mind. Um, and then I think we try to understand the difference between a profile, and a permission set, and then we try to understand, what is role hierarchy, organization-wide default sharing rules, and within the sharing rules, what are criteria-based sharing rules and owner-based sharing rules. So, we try to see some examples, and hopefully hopefully everybody got it. But yeah, just feel free to reach out to me in case any questions on that. Now, I just want to highlight some of the things that are on the profile that will control record level security. Okay. Now, I just want to highlight one thing. See, just because organization-wide default of some object is public read, right, doesn't mean if your profile doesn't have access to it, you will get it. Like, for example, if you take an object called employee, the OWD, organization-wide default, is public read, right? But the HR profile does not have access to the employee object at all. Okay, OWD is public read, right? HR, at the profile level, they don't have access to that object. Okay, so when they don't have access to the object, but at the record level, if it is public read, it doesn't matter, because at the profile level, you don't have access to the object. You will not be able to see the record at all. Okay, so whenever we talk about record level security, we need to assume a statement. Okay, provided the profile permits, provided the user profile permits, then the whatever, like provided the profile permits, then whatever statement that record level security applies should be applied, because profile takes precedence over, the profile permissions takes precedence over record level security. Okay, and now I just want to show you in this profile. I just want to help you understand what read, create, edit, and then you see we have view all and modify all, right? I just want us to understand what this is. Okay, you can read the thing. So let's say for that profile, for some profile you made it view all. Okay, like for some profile you made it view all. So view all stands for, hey, irrespective of what are the sharing rules, private, it doesn't matter. Share all the records of that object with this person. Okay. For example, you might have employees object. Okay. You might have put the OWD as private, and you might have written some sharing rules and all that stuff. But HR department should have access to all the employees, right? So when you check that checkbox called view all, so basically what you're saying is, like at a profile level, what you're controlling is, you're just saying, irrespective of what the sharing rules are, irrespective of whether the grant access using hierarchies is checked or not, doesn't matter. Make sure when view all checkbox is checked, all the records of the object are shared with this profile. Okay? And then modify all. Modify all means the users with this modify, like let me just click view all. If I click view all, automatically read permission is checked. If I click modify all, you see edit, delete are also automatically checked. Okay? So what does that mean? So when I click modify all, you see read, edit, delete are automatically, and view all are auto. Modify all means not only you'll be able to view the records, but you will have the ability to be able to delete, edit all the records. Like modify all basically gives you, it's like public read, write, delete of that object. Okay, so at the profile level, if you check modify all, that means you have access to all the records of that object. You will be able to read them, you will be able to edit them, and you will be able to perform the delete on those. So that's about view all and modify all. Okay.
So I mean, sound like even at the if OWD settings is like private also, if on our profile for that object, if it is view all modify all, then we will be able to control the records,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah, you will be able to get access to all the records in the system for that object.
Is there any way like at the profile level we don't have access to that object? Is there any way that we can view the records of that object? There is no way.
No, unless you're building custom pages.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like you can build a custom Visual Force page or a custom Lightning page, right? And then you can query from the backend and display to them. Like, when we come to coding, I'll tell you that. But there is something called without sharing keyword. You can use that without sharing keyword and display. But unless you have some kind of profile level access, like unless it's a custom page, nowhere if the object doesn't have the permission, users will never be able to access those records from standard Salesforce UI.
Okay. It has to be from profile level.
See, that's the thing. It has to be from profile. Like first, profile gives access whether you have whether you will be able to see the tab, whether you will be able to access that object. Then the record level security determines which rows in that table you should be able to see. First of all, if the profile, like if you don't even have access to the table, then which rows you have access to it doesn't even come into the context, right?
Yes.
Yeah. That's why provided the profile permits you, then, whenever we talk about record level security, if the profile doesn't even have that, there is absolutely no way like you will be able to get. But again, in custom pages, yeah, you can do all sorts of magics. Okay. Any questions, guys? Good. So this is about view all and modifier. I think there is another permission called, you see this modify all data. So this is like modify all data. You just get basically system admins kind of people will have this permission. So you see here you are checking view all and modify all, Instead of giving view all and modify all for all the records in the system, rather than checking all this, you can just simply click on modify all data. Okay, I'm gonna show you that. Yeah, there is this permission called modify all data, where you will be able to just, control everything. Basically, this allows you to access all the records in the system. Okay. Now, so sometimes people might ask some tricky question. Again, see, interviews are, especially in IT interviews, are not supposed to be for tricky questions, but some people, they love to ask tricky questions. The tricky question, I'm just saying, the thing would be, hey, will you be able to control record level security from profile? It's not tricky actually. It's a valid question too, but, so they'll ask, will you be able to control record level security from profile? Yes, with the view all and modify all or modify all data. When you give view all, irrespective of what the sharing settings are, OWD is there, people will be able to access the records of that object. If it is modify all, people will be able to edit, delete the records. If it is modify all data, people will be able to get the users with that profile will be able to get access to all the records in the system. So will a profile really controls record level security in certain way? Yes, absolutely. With view all, modify all, and modify all data permission. Okay. So one of the most commonest, I mean, even when I do an interview, the first and foremost question that I ever ask is, what is the difference between role and a profile? Okay. So, I mean, this is like if you have 100 interviews, 80 interviews will have this. Will have this question. So, what is the difference between a role and a profile? Now, profile, as we discussed, I mean, actually, there is no correlation at all. It's like, you know, trying to compare two completely different things. But that's like that has to be one of the most popular question in Salesforce interviews. Okay. So what is the difference between a role and profile? So the answer would be profile is a set of permissions that are assigned to a user, and in turn it controls what a user can do in the system. Profile controls things like app level access, tab access, object CRUD access like create, read, update, delete permissions, password policies, record type access, page layout assignments, session settings, login hours, Visual Force page access, Apex class access. So profile controls all these things, and of course it controls what a user can do in the system. Now role defines where a user stands in the organizational, like role hierarchy is nothing but the organizational chart depending on the position, and it defines where a user stands in the organization hierarchy. By defining the role, it controls, like role controls for all the objects where grant access using hierarchies is checked. Role controls the record level security by providing access to their managers, by providing access to their managers, access to the subordinate records. Okay. So role is, again, role is nothing but, it just tells you, okay, where in the organizational hierarchy somebody stands. Now, after somebody is there, like what does it control? Like after we know that somebody is at this role, somebody is at this role, role ensure for all the objects where grant access using hierarchies checkbox is checked, role ensures that the managers get access to subordinates records. Okay, so that's the difference. I mean, again, it's not like a app like very close difference. Those are two different things, but like people would love to hear the word role controls record level security, profile controls what a user can do in the system. That's like a role for record and profile for permissions. They just wanted to hear that answer. But like we mentioned, you can elaborate as much as you can. Okay, role lets you know where a user stands in the organizational hierarchy, and in turn controls record level security by providing access to subordinates record to managers. Okay, profile is a bunch of permissions that are assigned to set of users and which control what a user can do in the system. Okay, any questions there? So, one other thing, I just want to, any questions?
No. No.
Okay. I just want to show you something. Like, most of the times what happens, you see this opportunity, right? This opportunity, so here we don't have it. I'm going to go to Classic. Okay, I'm just going to go to Classic. Just for the sake of this. You see this? In Classic, you see a button called Sharing. Okay, in Lightning, you don't see it. It is in Salesforce as a roadmap to enable the sharing button even in Lightning. But at least for now, you won't be able to see the sharing button in Lightning. Okay, in Classic, you see the sharing button. So what does this mean? Okay. So if somebody asks, like there will be numerous scenarios where you will be faced while working, especially as an admin. They'll say, hey, why did somebody is able to access this, but why not somebody is unable to access this record? Like, These are the common questions. Hey, why this person is able to access this record? Why this person is unable to? Can you confirm if this user has access to this record or not? All that. So you can just click this sharing button. Okay, and the sharing button will clearly tell you, you see, Shravan Piniti has full access because I am the owner. The role COO has read-write access because we have an opportunity sharing rule that is defined. Okay, so I can just click on expand list and it would say, see who are all the users who have access to. Okay, like, and it would also tell you why, like even why, what is the reason why this individual person is getting access to. So basically in the real company with lots of users, right? So if you click sharing here and click expand list, there will be hundreds and hundreds of people that might have access to the record. And it will clearly tell you like why somebody have access to that certain record. Okay, like, which is a good place to debug. I mean, whenever they have security questions around record level security, I always just come here and, you know, like click sharing button to see who are all the people who have access, and, you know, the person in question, like they might say, hey, can you check this person has access to it, or, you know, anything. So I will make sure the person in question, why, I'll just click the why button beside the person in question to confirm why somebody has access to it or not. Okay, and then you see here, even in the record sharing, you can click add as well. So by clicking add, you can even share the records with people, like manual, like that. This is called as manual sharing. Okay, first thing what we have done is OWD controls the record level security. Okay, if it is public read-write, we don't even have to care, because if it is public read-write, the sharing button, you will never be able to expose the sharing button first of all, because it's public read-write. Everybody in the system will have access to no matter what. Okay, but if it is private, you will be able to see the sharing button, like, or you can add it from the page layout, and when you click on it, you'll make sure like you get. But in case somebody wants additional access, okay, to this, you can still click add, and you can, you know, you can just say, hey, for integration user, see like this. You see, for integration user, I provided read-write access, and the reason is manual sharing. So manual sharing is nothing but somebody clicked on the sharing button on the opportunity and then shared access to this. Like, you know, it's just like we are giving access to this record. Okay, so that's why the reason is manual sharing. And this feature, like the feature that allows people to share the records manually is called manual sharing. Okay, so every object has it. Like if the OWD of the object is private, you will be able to expose the sharing button, and then you will be able to provide access. Okay, now this sharing button feature is not available in Lightning yet. Okay, so that's why in Lightning you might not see the sharing a button feature, but in Classic it's available, and, you know, you will be able to see that sharing button like this on here. Okay, it's called manual sharing. Now, let's talk about teams. Okay, so in Salesforce, okay, let me just move to Lightning. I mean, this team's structure is a little bit important means you need to, if you know it, it'd be good. Okay, let me enable this permission. So there is something called opportunity teams. So opportunity team setting, I'm just enabling this. See, this might already be, like if you go to a company, this might already be enabled, but I'm just, you know, I just enabled. Okay, so I enabled the team selling setup. So let's see what that means actually. Opportunity team selling setup. You see, we added something called opportunity team here. Automatically, this related list got added, which is opportunity team. I mean, the name itself is opportunity team, right? Like, what is meant by opportunity team? So, in a company, okay, in a company, like there are so many companies where not individual people will not be able to sell opportunities. Usually, for selling the opportunities, you will need all the help that you can take. Like you will be working. You might be the opportunity owner, but you might be working with other people. Like for example, you might be the opportunity. For example, in a company, okay. So these people want to sell like 50 cars, okay, 50 cars to a company, like some company they want to sell 50 cars to some company, okay. So you are the opportunity owner. You are working hard. You are preparing the quotes. You are making all the calculations. You are printing the documents. You are in touch with some people and all, okay. And you are trying to sell it to, let's say I own a company and you are the salesperson and you are the opportunity owner. You are trying to sell like 50 cars to me, okay. But you found out that some person in your company, like some person, your colleague, already have some relationship with me, like whether they made a sale before or whether they work with me in a different, like different module or something like that. So what would you do? In order to get you some more support, in order to strengthen your selling point, you will ask that person also, like your colleague also, to help come to some meetings and all that, just to close the deal, okay. And again, I mean, even in companies, like if somebody is preparing quote, like you want to sell an opportunity, somebody is preparing the quotes, you cannot do, like, just as an opportunity owner, you might not be able to do all the work related to this, and hence Salesforce has this concept called opportunity team. So if you go to opportunity team, you see here, you can click on add opportunity team members. You will just say team role is like account manager, and the user is user HR. Opportunity access is read write. Let me just say I save this. You see here I added HR user as the opportunity team member with edit access. Okay. So that means what I'm telling here, hey, this HR user is an account manager, okay, and this user helped me in closing this deal, or like this person, like along with the opportunity owner, this opportunity team member is also helping me with the opportunity, okay, and then there is another feature called opportunity splits. So what happens? Let's say you win the deal. Like the deal is closed and you win the deal. So owner will get probably some percentage, and then people who helped on the opportunity should also get some commission or cut out of it, right? So that's why there is something called opportunity split. So where you can determine how much percentage of the commission will the owner get and how much percentage of the commission will all the other opportunity team members get. So there are options like that where you can split the opportunity amount between the owner and also other people who worked on. So I mean, again, that feature is there too. So but what is the ultimate goal of opportunity team? To define from the functional standpoint, like if you take from a business perspective, not from a developer or admin perspective, you are saying, hey, these are the team of the people that helped in winning the opportunity, or that helped or that worked on the opportunity. But from the security standpoint, record level security standpoint, I'm going to go back to Classic just to show the sharing button. So if you look at this, you see user HR has read-write access because of the sales team. Like because we added this user HR as a opportunity team member, you see automatically this person got access to this opportunity. Okay. So like from the backend, from our perspective, from an admin or developer perspective, when you add somebody as an opportunity team member, Salesforce would automatically give access to that opportunity for that person. Okay. But from the functional standpoint, yes, they get access. And along with that, this helps us, this helps them, just by looking at it, it will be like, oh, okay, yeah, Shravan is an opportunity owner, and along with, this user HR who is the account manager are both working on this opportunity. And then once the opportunity is closed one, probably, people can use opportunity splits feature or not. It's up to them. There is a feature called, again, just like opportunity team, you can enable an opportunity splits feature, and using the opportunity splits feature, you will be able to you will be able to divide the amount. Okay. So similar to opportunity team, we also have something called account team. On the account, if you take, right now we don't have it, but I'm going to go to setup. So we have account teams. I can enable account teams. Yeah. I'm adding it to all the layouts. Yes, yes. So now I just enabled account teams, and these are the team roles that I have. I can add other roles too. So if I go to account and refresh the screen now, you see I have account team. It is exact same concept, but rather than at the opportunity level, now I'm adding team at the account level. Okay, I'm gonna say user HR, team role is account manager, account access is read write, case access is read write, opportunity access is read or read write. I can just tell you this. So what is happening here? So by adding somebody as the account team, like I added user HR as the account team for edge communication, and while adding it, I enabled some options that said this person is an account manager, role of account manager, and will have read-write access to contacts, cases, and opportunities under this account. So by adding somebody as an account team member, what we are providing is we are giving access to this user HR for all the opportunities or any future opportunities that are going to be created under that account, for all the contacts or any future contacts, for all the cases or any future cases that are going to be created under that account. Okay. See, account team is such a powerful feature because you don't have to individually go to contacts, cases, or contacts, cases, or opportunities, or go to manual sharing to be able to share the records. It's like if you add somebody as an account team member, they just get access to. I mean, you can control that. You can control that and provide them access to a lot of records. Okay, so these are called like team sharing. Why is Salesforce giving it? See, you might have public read write, you might have private, you might have public read only, and then we might have role record level, like the role level security, and then we have owner based sharing rules and criteria based sharing rules. Yes, we have all these, but just because we have all this doesn't mean all the security issues are resolved. I mean, it doesn't mean all the issues are resolved. Sometimes, because of no reason or because of some reason, some people might not fall into this role criteria and all this, but they might need access to certain records. Like you cannot go back to the business and say, hey, as per Salesforce security model, we can only do this. We cannot provide you access. That would be a bad answer to the business. So that's why Salesforce exposed these teams like account team or opportunity team, or they also expose that manual sharing button. So you can just basically share the record with anybody. Like as long as their profile have access to that object, they will be able to access the records. Okay. I mean, even on case object also, we have something called case teams. So basically, case team or account team or opportunity team. These are the only three objects that have team, like the option called team option. Case team, opportunity team, and account team. These are the only three objects where you have the team. For custom objects, we don't have a team feature. Like in case we want a team feature, we have to custom build it ourselves. But for custom objects, we don't have this team object. Okay. Yes. Any questions so far on the team structure, account team, like case team and opportunity team? Okay. Now, here is a broader question that I want to ask. Like, I mean, this is really, really my favorite question. I mean, not many people ask this, but if I am an interviewer, this is like the favorite question that I have. So my question that I ask will be, hey, what are all the ways you can share a record in Salesforce? Like, just define me. Tell me if there is a record, like there is some random object, some record. Like, what are all the ways you can share a record? Okay, I'm assuming, let's say, if it is, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm assuming and all that, but I would say, what are all the ways that you can share a record? It's a good question on itself. Okay, so I think if that question is asked, the answer would be, first, you can say organization-wide default. If you keep the organization-wide default as public read only or public read, right, automatically any user in the application who have access, any user in Salesforce who have access to that object will be able to access those records. See, that's one way. Second way is, if grant access using hierarchies is checked box, automatically managers will be able to access subordinate record. That's the second type of sharing, Then you can also write owner-based sharing rules. You can say, hey, if the owner belongs to this role, make sure to share the record with this role and subordinates or this role. So that's owner-based sharing rule. Then there are criteria-based sharing rule. So the criteria-based sharing rule will be, hey, if the record meets this amount, if the record has certain amount, then share the record with somebody. So far we will be like organization-wide defaults, role hierarchy, criteria-based sharing rules, owner-based sharing rules, and then there is something called manual sharing. I just showed you, where you click on the sharing button and you click add to be able to add manual sharing. That's there. And then you have the options to share by using case teams, account teams, or opportunity teams. Does that make sense? I think so far I've got 8. I don't know if I'm missing something. But yeah, if you give these 8, I'm sure the interviewer will be happy about it.
Can we add the profile level also, like view all, modify all?
Oh yes, man, that's good actually. Oh, awesome. Thank you. Yeah, in profile as well, we can. Thank you so much, Narendran. Yeah, in profile as well, we can control by checking view all or modify all, or by checking the modify all data. Great. Yeah, that's actually great. Yeah, good point.
And the queues
so
also.
Yeah. Sorry.
And the queues.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I mean, not all objects support queues. Yes. So what you meant by queues is you can add people to the queue and make the queue as the owner of the record.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Yeah. Man, good points. Actually, I will use it sometimes. Yeah. You can add people to the queue and you can make the owner as the queue, and automatically they will be able to. Okay. So I think here is how I would start. First, I would start. Okay, what are all the ways you can share a record? By making a user as the owner is the first option, because nobody can take away the access from owner. So my first option would be, make the user as the owner for the record. They will be able to get it. Or make the OWD, like open up the OWD. Okay. Or like, let's say, even if the OWD is not opened up, you might make that person as the higher in the role hierarchy, and make sure the grant access using the hierarchy checkbox is checked. Or write a sharing rule, or within the sharing rule, either write an owner-based sharing rule or criteria-based sharing rule, or click manual sharing and provide the sharing manually, or use account team or opportunity team or case team to provide access to the respective records. That's team sharing. Or provide at the profile level, provide view all or modify all data, or assign a permission set with that, like view all or modify all on certain object. Or at the profile level, just check modify all data checkbox to provide access. Or make the queue as an owner. I mean, this is not supported for all objects like account and this one. Make the queue as the owner of the object and just add people to the queue. Like, excellent. I mean, these are all the ways that you can share a record in Salesforce. Okay. Any questions so far? See, the thing is, this is like, I mean, especially in the Salesforce world, right? It's continuous learning process. When I say continuous learning process, I mean, you don't have to keep reading about Salesforce or anything. As long as you got these basic things, right? Hey, these are the sharing settings, this is how an object is created. This is what the relation, like, as long as you know those, I think we should be good and we should be expanding from there. See, for example, I just learned yesterday, literally yesterday, that you cannot create a custom object or any object. Like, basically you cannot create a custom object and have lead as the parent in a master detail relationship. So one of the requirements that I got, I was trying to write a technical approach for it. So, like they want to have a custom object, like, they want to have a custom object to lead, and that custom object should be the child object of lead, of course, but through master detail, because, when the lead is deleted, they want to delete those custom object records and, roll up summary calculations and all this. They wanted that. I'm like, yeah, why not? I mean, it's a pretty damn straight requirement. And I realized yesterday that you cannot make lead as a parent object. Like, you can create lookup, you can make lead as a parent for object, but that relationship have to be lookup. It doesn't have to. It cannot be master detail. And then I did some, like, I googled something. You see, why can't leads or users be master? Like master detail from. There are some ideas. See, there are some ideas pending. Currently, you can create a lookup relationship from custom objects to lead, but cannot create master detail. Like, there are some ideas that are pending out there, asking people to, like, and then, so, it's not a current, like, see, when I think about it, I know why they didn't expose the master detail relationship, because I'm assuming, I mean, because a lead can be converted to account, contact, and opportunity, and you have converted lead ID, like, technically in the back end, they are still maintaining the relationship between these objects. I think because of that reason, and they might think it messes up with the security. I'm really not sure. Those are just my guesses. But they are not allowing lead to be the master detail relationship with a custom object. Now, like, until yesterday, I didn't know that point because I never got a chance to, like, touch that piece. I never got a chance to create a master detail relationship to the lead object. But yeah, I got that chance yesterday. When I created, I learned, okay, lead cannot be. But, sometimes people, like, what they do in interviews, I know that point, right? Like, because I was trying to create a relationship, I know that point that I cannot create a master detail relationship with lead. Sometimes people in the interviews, just because they faced it in their experience, they try to ask, hey, can you create a master detail relationship to lead, will be the question. And if you, like, based on your regular knowledge, you'll be like, yeah, why not? It's a standard object. I'm trying to create a custom object, and the custom object is on the detail side, and the standard object is on the master side. Of course, it's possible. Okay, that doesn't mean you made a blunder or anything. Sometimes people behave it like that. People be like, oh, you know what? You cannot create a master detail to lead. Yeah, okay, good. Yeah, now that you told me, I know that. But I was always in the impression that you can create it, but Salesforce has an exception there. Unless, there is no guarantee, no matter if you work 20 years in Salesforce, you might not get a chance to create a master detail to lead, right? And that doesn't mean you have to know all those things, okay? That's stupid way of doing interviews by asking. You can ask the question, but even if you say, "Hey, I didn't know," yeah, you can be considerate about it. It doesn't mean you have to know every little thing, every little exception in Salesforce. Okay. But the point of me telling that example is there are a lot of things, especially around task, event object, task object, user object. Lots of these are called standard objects for a reason. The behavior for custom objects is always consistent because custom object is something that we are creating it. If one object, one of the custom objects supported a feature, every other custom object should support that feature because, these are the custom objects that we are creating ourselves. Okay. Whereas the other objects like account, contact, lead, opportunity, these are called standard objects for a reason because as part of the software as a service package, Salesforce enables some features. Salesforce enables some automation. Salesforce have done some logics in the backend as part of the software as a service package, and they don't allow us to change those. Okay, so all you have to do is, hey, this is not possible. I'm just creating a lookup relationship, and try to work with some alternatives that we have. But there are a lot of things that you would only notice when we get there.
Shravan.
Yes.
I have a question. In a master detail relationship, if we delete the master, the child will get deleted, right?
Yes, all the child records get deleted. Yes.
So in a junction, let's say we created a junction object. So there are two master details. So we deleted two master objects. So the junction object will be deleted, right?
If you delete any one of the master, the junction gets deleted.
So can we, if we undelete it, what is the relationship won't exist, right? Even.
I think that's a good one. I know this comes in certifications, right? If you undelete I think if you undelete the master, I'm assuming the relationship still comes over. If you undeleting you have two master details, two parents and a junction. So you deleted the junction and the
master.
And the master. Did you just delete the junction, or did you delete the junction as well as one of the master object?
Just the junction.
Yeah. If you delete, I think if you just deleted the junction record, and if you undelete it, it will come back to its original position. But if you deleted the junction and also delete one of the master and undelete just the junction, I don't think the undelete would work.
Okay. Undelete the master also?
Yeah, if you undelete the master first and then undelete the junction, probably the junction,
the relationship
will establish. This is my guess because I think when I'm thinking, I'm thinking that's how it makes sense. Because without the master, the junction cannot exist. So if you do not undelete the master that got deleted first, you might not be able to establish the relationship. But you know what? Just to be on the safer side, I would do a test, and I would want you to tell me what happens. Okay. It's a good question, but if I'm doing that, if I wanted to do some undelete, I would do a practical test myself and confirm it. But I'm assuming what I said is right, but I still want you to test it and confirm it yourself.
Thanks.
Okay. Yeah, just like I mentioned, account team, case team, there are other features on account you have other features you have account team. and then you have contact roles. Even an opportunity, you have contact role. In cases, you have cases, case comments, emails. Like there are a lot of out-of-the-box features that are available. So, just to make sure, you should be able to just play around with it in case you are working that object, and let the person know what it is. I mean, let your business know, or let your a business analyst, whoever gives you the requirement. It's up to us to be able to know. See, here is the thing, right? As an admin, or as a developer, I always feel it is our responsibility to be able to bring up some things. Okay, when I say bring up some things, why am I saying that word, bring up something? See, business analysts, or the business partners, or the business team, they are not Salesforce experts, right? So sometimes they come and say, hey, can you make this happen? Can you, they wouldn't never come and say, hey, enable accounting, or enable contact roles, or enable OWDS private. They would never tell you that. Okay? So it's up to us, to be able to go to them and say, hey, it's really up to us to be able to, when there is the goal for us should be to find out what is the business requirement, how system should help their business, what is the requirement that they have, that they are trying to achieve from a business standpoint. Then it's up to us to be able to explore the features. Sometimes they might not even realize some features exist. Okay, for example, I'm going to give you. I'm just giving you this example because this happened to me very recent. Okay, so let's see here. This is the opportunity, right? You see, you have activity, you have chatter, you have details, and then you have related list to this side. Okay, now activity, chatter, and details, you have related list to the side. So, I'm working for a project where we are enabling Lightning. We are converting from Classic to Lightning. Okay, so most of the projects that you might see in the next 1 year or anywhere, you will always see all the projects where they are saying they are converting from Classic to Lightning. Okay, you see this in Classic. This is the Classic view. In Classic, an opportunity record used to look like this, where you have this, and you have all the related items like this, at the bottom. Now, the same record, look at in Lightning. So it appears a little bit differently, it appears a little bit differently where it is directly navigating on the activity, then chatter, and then, you have details. And then all the related lists instead of at the bottom, they are to the side. It's a good. The reason why Lightning does this, right? See, in Lightning experience, you need to understand one thing. Every record is an app. So the concept for Salesforce is, usually, if you take a look at it, in Classic experience, okay, this is the major difference between Lightning and Classic. In Classic experience, so this is one monolithic page. Okay, this is one page where everything is tightly bound. You have the opportunity record, you have the details, the related list and everything that you are seeing. These are very tightly bound, and there is less flexibility in terms of UI. Now, when it comes to, see, that's a single record page. It's a single page, and it's just like one monolithic version of the page. In Lightning, the goal, the whole concept of Lightning is, this is a single page application. This is how Salesforce wants us to treat it. Yes, you have a record ID. It is depicting the details of one record, but they are telling this, hey, this is a single page application with a lot of individual components. Okay, you see, this is a single page application, and you have this top component. You see this component? You have this component where you have all the buttons with important information. And you have this component is called path component. This component is called details component. This is chatter component. This is activities component. And this is related list component. So we have various components on this page that are interacting with each other. Like, that are interacting with, for example, if I say the record should be automatically submitted for approval when I change this to like perception analysis and say. So what happens the moment here I do this, automatically the approval history starts appearing again. So this is like, I think you might have SPA, single page application. That's how React, Angular and everything. So it's a single page application where, like, for example, even Facebook, if you open your Facebook, it is a single page application of its own. Like, Facebook is an app and it is a single page application of its own where lot of tiny components are interacting with each other. For example, your timeline, the posts, you can write posts, like all those are tiny components where, on the side you will see people who you might know, or, there can be a sidebar where it would show all of your friends who are currently active in the chat. Like every individual component is interacting with each other. In the same way, even here, the components are interacting with each other. Okay, so that's the Lightning way of thinking. Like, it's not a monolithic page, but it's a page where you have numerous components that are interacting with each other and forming a single page application. Okay, now, see, like, because our users or because our business team or business partners or business analysts, they are so used to the fact, for example, I'm going to show you context. Like, I'm just going to show you context. And this is the way. Like, you see, on context, the related list, naturally, we didn't, we only enable Lightning, but we didn't customize anything in Lightning, right? So naturally, the details are coming here, related is coming here. But for opportunity, by default, Salesforce, this is default function. The details are coming here and related lists are coming to the side. Okay. So on contacts, by default, details are coming here and related list is coming to this left side. What if users like the idea on how the opportunity is there? Like, details should be here and the related list should be here. So because our users came from the Visual Force thing, they're like, okay, when they see this, yeah, probably this is Salesforce feature. That's it. This is what it can offer, and we just have to live with it. But it's not, absolutely not. You can configure and customize all the things, like, move related list here, remove this news thing, make sure they land on the details, which is called as Lightning App Builder. So Salesforce exposes something called as Lightning App Builder, where you can configure and customize these components, how to use it. For example, if I go here, I'll just click edit page. Like, I just click here, click edit page. So this is the app builder. Like, you see, this is the structure of our page. And you see, this is the structure of our page. And these are all individual components that are, you see, this is a component. This is a component. Okay, this is a component. Like, these are all individual components. Let me just delete all this. Okay, let me just delete this component. And now, you see, add components here. Now, what I'm going to do is, so there will be a component called record detail. Okay, I'm just going to put the record detail here. That's it. Nothing else. I just dragged and dropped the record detail. And then I drop related list here. Okay. And then I might add maybe, or I don't want to add activities here, but I might add chatter here. Let me try to add a tab, like tab, I don't know. So I'm just activating this. Assign as our default and save. And then I'll just go back.
Sam, how did you get into that view? I just missed it.
Yeah, here, like you see this one.
Okay.
On the setup, there is an option called edit page. Like it knows that you are in this page. Salesforce knows that you are in this page. So I'm clicking on this. So I'm gonna make default tab as details. Okay, and then save it. Go back. You see, now when I'm opening a contact, you can go back in the recording and check. If I go, previously it was landing on somewhere in related list, okay? But now I made sure when you open the contact itself, you are landing on the detail. You have the related list to this side, and you click on activity, and you have activities here, and with some simple clicks. So they will never know that. Your business will never know that. You need to make sure to show them, hey, these are the options that are available. Do you want to do something with it? Okay. So that's app builder. Or you can go from here to. It doesn't have to be from there. You can go from, you can say app builder. In the quick find, you can say app builder, Lightning app builder. And you will notice contact record detail page. We just created this, right? So you can also click new record page or home page or app page, but we can just say, I'm gonna just say record page. I'll just say account, object account. And then click next. So, they're just asking, how do you want? Do you want some cloned pin? You can choose what kind of layout that you want: 3 region, 2 region, 1 region, headers, or you can just say click, clone whatever we have. Okay, so that this is the existing structure of how the page looks like. Okay, now. We don't want news, so I can just remove news. I'll move details to the beginning, and then I'll make details as the default tab. Okay, you can have related list here, or I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna delete related from here. I'm going to delete chatter. I'm going to add related list to the right. I'm going to add a tab. Again, I'm going to move this. I don't want related. Oh, they only have details. Okay, I just don't want the details. I'm okay like this. So just save it. Again, it's up to you on what customizations that you need, and just save. So go back. So if I go to Sales app now, I go to Accounts. Same thing. Previously, it used to be different, but now it lands directly on details, and we can add a path component. We can add a lot of things with App Builder. The App Builder gives us, we can create record pages. We can create home page. This is the home page, right? You can make your home page so beautiful. You can customize and you can customize so many things here. And you can remove these things and, replace these with something else. You can create those. You can create app pages too. The moment you come to this app, like what page should appear, like a app page, home page, record pages. You can configure and customize all those things just by drag and drop, which is the powerful feature that is available with Lightning App Builder. So if you are trying to prepare for an app builder exam, things will be like this. The questions will be around, okay, what are some of the components, some of the standard components that are available, like accordion, like I don't know, maybe accordion. I didn't try this before. Oh, okay. So related can be like this. Oh, this is good too. So you can add record detail here, and in the related list, you can add related list, and just take this out, take this out, take this out. Now I can move this one up, just save it. I'm playing around with too. Like you see, like if I click details, the details open. If you click related, the related list open and the details get closed. So it's up to you on how you want to design it. I mean, I don't like this design lot much. I wanted the related list to be on the side. Now that design would have been better for me. But again, it's really up to us on how to configure it. So there are some like the questions would be around, hey, what are some of the out of the box features that are available in App Builder? Like what are some of the standard components that you can use in App Builder? Can you add custom components? What kind of layout that you can create? How can you activate this Lightning App Builder page? These are some of the options that you have. You can just play around with it. Like, you try to configure your pages to match the needs like this. And, that way you get to learn stuff on how to use this App Builder. There is a whole certification just on how to configure and customize using your App Builder, how to do those. Okay. So I think I will see you guys tomorrow. I know I promised price books and products, but I'll see you guys tomorrow and we can talk about products and price books tomorrow. Okay. But this is about App Builder, some of the record level sharing, and some standard features like account teams, case teams, and opportunity teams. What they do, what we come with, and what is the use of sharing button, what are the ways that we can share a record, and how can we use App Builder. I think these are the things that we covered today. We will come back and talk about like products, price books, and price book entries. What is the importance and stuff tomorrow. Okay.